Nutrition Science, omega-3, omega-6, and essential fatty acids. In addition to the length of the carbon chain and the number of double bonds, unsaturated fatty acids are also classified by the position of the first double bond relative to the methyl or CH or omega end of the carbon chain, the end furthest from the glycerol backbone in a triglyceride. Fatty acids with the first double bond at the third carbon from the omega end are called omega-3 fatty acids. Those with the first double bond at the sixth carbon from the omega end are called omega-6 fatty acids. There are also omega-9 fatty acids. Fatty acids are vital for the normal operation of all body systems, but the body is capable of synthesizing most of the fatty acids it needs. However, there are two fatty acids that the body cannot synthesize: linoleic acid and omega-6, and alpha-linolenic acid and omega-3. These are called essential fatty acids because they must be consumed in the diet. Other fatty acids are called non-essential fatty acids, but that doesn't mean they're unimportant. The classification is based solely on the ability of the body to synthesize the fatty acid. Excellent food sources of linoleic fatty acid include plant oils such as corn oil and soybean oil, often found in salad dressings and margarine. Rich food sources of alpha-linolenic acid include nuts, flaxseed, whole grains, legumes, and dark green leafy vegetables. Most Americans can easily consume enough linoleic acid and other omega-6 fatty acids because corn and soybean oil are common ingredients in our food supply. However, sources of ALA and other omega-3 fatty acids are less common in the American diet, and many people could benefit from incorporating more sources of these into their diet. As an added benefit, whole foods rich in ALA come packaged with other healthful nutrients like fiber, protein, vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals. A true essential fatty acid deficiency is rare in the developed world, but it can occur usually in people who eat very low-fat diets or have impaired fat absorption. Symptoms include dry and scaly skin, poor wound healing, increased vulnerability to infections, and impaired growth in infants and children. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are precursors to a large family of important signaling molecules called eicosanoids. Prostaglandins are one type of eicosanoid. Among the many functions of eicosanoids in the body, one of the most important is to regulate inflammation. Without these hormone-like molecules, the body would not be able to heal wounds or fight off infections each time a foreign germ presented itself. In addition to their role in the body's immune and inflammatory processes, eicosanoids also help to regulate circulation, respiration, and muscle movement. Eicosanoids derived from omega-6 fatty acids tend to increase blood pressure, blood clotting, immune response, and inflammation. These are necessary functions, but they can be associated with disease when chronically elevated. In contrast, eicosanoids derived from omega-3 fatty acids tend to lower blood pressure, inflammation, and blood clotting, functions that can benefit heart health. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids compete for the same enzymatic pathways in the formation of different eicosanoids, so increasing omega-3 fatty acids in the diet may have anti-inflammatory effects. 2 additional omega-3 fatty acids with important health benefits are eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid, or DHA. These long-chain polyunsaturated fatty acids have been shown to help lower blood triglycerides and blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and prevent clot formation. They also promote normal growth and development in infants, especially in the development of the brain and eyes. Both of these important omega-3 fatty acids can be synthesized in the body from ALA, so they are not considered essential fatty acids. However, the rate of conversion of ALA to these omega-3s is limited, so it is beneficial to consume them regularly in the diet. Fish, shellfish, fish oils, seaweed, and algae are all good sources of EPA and DHA. DHA is also found in human breast milk in quantities dependent on the mother's own intake of DHA sources. Fish oil and omega-3 supplements are among the most commonly used dietary supplements in the United States. Researchers have hypothesized that these supplements might decrease risk of cardiovascular disease, be helpful for those with rheumatoid arthritis, and improve infant brain development when taken in pregnancy or in infancy. Some studies have found such benefits of the supplements, but others haven't. One reason for these inconsistent results may be that the studies often don't measure participants' baseline omega-3 levels and intake from foods. And those already consuming adequate omega-3s are less likely to benefit from a supplement. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommend consuming 8 ounces of a variety of seafood each week. And in general, people who meet this recommendation likely consume enough omega-3 fatty acids already, along with the other healthful nutrients found in fish, and are unlikely to see an added benefit of taking a fish oil supplement. Some doctors may recommend that people at risk of cardiovascular disease take a fish oil or omega-3 supplement, especially if they don't eat fish regularly. A word about trans fats. A carbon-carbon double bond in an unsaturated fatty acid chain can result in different shapes depending on whether the fatty acid is in a cis or trans configuration. When the hydrogen atoms are bonded to the same side of the carbon chain, it is called a cis fatty acid. Because the hydrogen atoms are on the same side and repelling one another, the carbon chain has a bent structure. Naturally occurring fatty acids usually have a cis configuration. In a trans fatty acid, the hydrogen atoms are bonded on opposite sides of the carbon chain, resulting in a more linear structure. Unlike cis fatty acids, most trans fatty acids are not found naturally in foods, but instead are a result of an industrial process called hydrogenation. Hydrogenation is the process of adding hydrogen to the carbon-carbon double bonds, thus making the fatty acid saturated, or less unsaturated in the case of partial hydrogenation. Hydrogenation creates both saturated and trans fatty acids. Trans fatty acids are actually unsaturated fatty acids, but they have the linear shape of saturated fatty acids. The carbon chains are not bent like naturally occurring unsaturated fats. The trans fatty acids formed through partial hydrogenation have an unusual shape, which makes their properties and actions in the body similar to saturated fatty acids.